Welcome to Start to Finish Motherhood, a podcast for those thinking or already single mothers by choice, just looking for practical advice for navigating life's relationships. When you decide to have children on your own, it doesn't mean that you're completely alone. I'm Aisha Jenkins, and I'm partnering with you every step of your journey. Hey, before we dive in, if this show has added value to your life or provided insight to your parenting journey, you can support it by buying me a coffee. Visit starttofinishmotherhood.com/coffee. Now let's get into this episode. So this was my special Father's Day episode. And I actually created this episode because for some single mothers by choice, Father's Day can be triggering. It is not a source of trigger for me. It is just another day. The kids, we go, we eat, and it's another day. So first, let me take a step back and explain. My entire approach to parenting is to first know where I am from an emotional perspective and regulate my own emotions so that I don't inadvertently transfer any of my angst, any of my trauma onto my children. So it was important for me to encourage other SMCs to prepare now for Father's Day, right? Get your emotions in order because how you approach Father's Day could have long lasting impacts on your children, right? Especially if you have male children, because someday they will become fathers if that's what they choose to be, right? So also to prepare the SMCs to, if they need to have early conversations about how to handle crafts projects for Father's Day, Mother's Day, those gendered holidays. We don't do much of those in the elementary school. So I have not had to even see a gendered holiday gift in my last few years because they just don't do it anymore at school. But outside of school, I would, caution the SMCs to really decide how you want to spend that day, get your emotions in order. And if you have a special male in your life, a special male in your children's life, ask them, have a conversation about how you want to spend that day. Talk to your children about any feelings that may surface in them about Father's Day, but just go and enjoy yourself. I have linked a few episodes in the show notes that talk about regulating yourself as the parent. I think these episodes are helpful in getting you to process your emotions around psychological triggers. Like I said, for some, Father's Day is a trigger. For others, it's some other holiday or something that is also a trigger, right? We still get in the SMC communities that, oh, I see other families with the father and I feel sad. Is my child going to resent me? Is my child going to feel that they're missing out on something? Process all of that with yourself first before you're caught off guard, trying to process at the same time that your children is coming to you with whatever emotion they have. All right. So on that note, I hope you find this episode helpful and yeah, report back. So my parents are deceased. I can think back to when I was a kid. I grew up with my stepdad in our house. And so for Father's Day, we did the traditional make a card at school, bring it home, give it to your dad. And so this day feels a typical day for me personally, and then for my family, because ultimately we set the tone for how this day is going to go down in our house. And so for me, when I sit down and I think about Father's Day and I think about the stepdad who raised me and the skills and the things that he taught me, I know how to use tools because my dad taught me how to use tools. Definitely something I plan to teach my girls. My dad taught me how to prepare for Armageddon. And definitely something teaching my girls. We have relay races to get to the car, to jump in the car in our seatbelts, just in case we got go bags. But literally, those are the endearing things that I carry from my dad into my childhood. And since my dad is not here to play a role in my girls' lives, these are things that I plan to impart to them. I don't know how my girls will choose to live their lives. One might choose to be a father.
one might choose to marry a father. So for me, I try to keep a balanced approach to the roles that I see fathers playing in society. And we just don't have in our family. And that's just it. And so this day for me is like any other holiday that I don't celebrate in my house. And so we respect it. We respect the people who do celebrate it. I put up an annual Facebook post saying Happy Father's Day to all the dads and anyone who chooses to celebrate this holiday. And then my day is done and I'm on to the next. When I think back to growing up with my stepdad, and I think, did I feel like anything was missing because it wasn't my biological dad? And to be honest, I think my parents did such a good job of just saying, maybe militantly, that this is your family. And so for me, it just was. And I think that's what I go into parenting with. It just is. This is our life. This is our family. This is our structure. Now, I will say daycare, I believe, I had more insight into daycare, what happened on their day-to-day basis than I do with school. But daycare would typically ask for a family photo at the beginning of the year so they can subtly understand what a child's family structure is. And then for my big girl, when she was at the age where she was doing arts and crafts, like real stuff, she asked me, who do you want her to make the Father's Day card out to? And I was just like, I was shocked. I was like, thank you for asking me. But I was like, ask her. And so she ended up making a card for her Uncle Sal. And it was the sweetest thing. But we are going every year, there's going to be a Father's Day, right? And so what we wanted to do was, for some in the S&C space, this day can be emotionally triggering. And so I sat down and thought about, over the course of our being parents, what are some tips and tricks we do to get through Father's Day, or to help other S&Cs get through Father's Day. So we got you covered. 5 tips. All right. So the first tip: read a book that depicts diverse family structures, because books can be scaffolding for difficult conversations. So this is the prelude into the Father's Day period. And we will refer people to the Todd Parr book, that is the family's book. We can talk about different families in our classrooms. We talk about different families that are in our village and in our social circles. So just having a diverse village, we think, helps prepare for this particular day, but prepare S&C children for their family structure. It's all about empowering the kids. Okay. Number 2. Proactively discuss with your care providers in the school how they can handle holidays in a way that's inclusive of all family structures. When you advocate for your kid and the uniqueness of your family structure, you are advocating for all kids and the uniqueness of each one of those individual children's family structures. Become an advocate in place for all kids. Okay. 3. Prepare your child for the reality of this Hallmark holiday. Don't operate with the intent to erase fathers from the picture. Don't do it. Children have CIA level of emotional detection. They can pick up on fear. They can pick up on discomfort. They can pick up on secrecy. They can pick up on shame, right? And it's just, I tell you, there are times where I will pick out books that specifically are a mom and kid family, because I want to validate our family structure to my kid while I have them in my home, right? But I also have books that include a traditional family structure, that include mom and mom family structure, grandma and auntie family structures, because those are the family structures that exist in society. I don't want my kid ill prepared to go out into the world and encounter some of these things and have someone else tell them the narrative. I want to be in control of my kids' narrative from the age of 0 to 4, because that's after that, they enter the world and they come back and they tell you what other people are saying. But for this day, like I said, my kids could decide, I want to be a dad. And I don't want to have to backpedal and be like, oh, all that I said about dads, I take it back. Kid might marry a dad, might marry a man who will become a dad. Right. And so for me, I think in order to uplift and validate the S&C family structure, we don't have to invalidate other family structures. Our books have dads that show up in the picture, kids, and that's important. And also because you can help talk your kids through something that they may be uncomfortable with. Tony has a dad comes to pick Tony up. Why don't I have a dad? And you open the door, comfortably and easily to have those conversations. I think I'm laughing because I subconsciously do this thing. I don't want my kid to be on somebody's couch someday with all emotions. And so anything that I can do to get them talking about things that I know will put someone on a couch, I want to create a safe space so that we can start talking about this early and we can talk about it often because I don't want to be paying therapy fees. All right, all seriousness. Number 4, allow your children to celebrate whomever they want to celebrate on this holiday because it's not about you. So I will say one of the best pieces of parenting advice I ever got was from a more seasoned parent who I consulted before I became an SNC. And she was like, the best thing that you can do is learn how to keep a straight face. So when like anything, any hurdle that I'm going to come across with my kid, my goal in that moment is to keep a straight face and to hear them out. And my daughter is so empowered. She'll be like, Mommy, you're not listening, right? And yeah, 6-year-olds, just forewarning you all, 6-year-olds will come for the jugular and you need to keep a straight face. But it's not about you, it's about the kid. And again, this opens the door to a conversation. Who do you want to celebrate on this day? Who is it that you feel is that loving, trusted adult in your life? And asking those questions can also give you insight into their little world, right? Because as parents, we think we know, but when they go through those school doors, they are interacting with other adults that they feel are trusted adults. And so you'll find out which aunties they like best, which uncles, and it's quite humorous. All right. Number 5, this holiday can be triggering for some people. So take some time to process how you feel about the holiday before you interact with your child, their care providers, or the public. We have from the time that we start thinking about becoming SNCs to think about how we want to handle Father's Day. We have from the time that we are pregnant and these little people are kicking the heck out of us to think about how we want to handle Father's Day. Take that time, go to the counseling session, sit on somebody's couch before you have to get in front of little people because parenting happens in the moment and it happens so fast that you want to make sure that you have taken care of yourself and your feelings. And then even still, when you get in that moment, you need to be in that moment and know that this is a day that I feel uncomfortable with, or this is a day that triggers me for some reason. What can I do proactively to make sure I protect my heart and that I protect my kids or anybody else from having to bear my emotional distress? So take care of yourself and then go into the day. I'm going to bundle my littles and go to the pool. And this day's any other Saturday. We're going to the pool. We're going to splash around. I hear Sunday is supposed to be a beautiful day. And so that's what we're going to do.
Thanks for listening to Start to Finish Motherhood with Aisha. If you want to keep the conversation going, follow Start to Finish Motherhood on Instagram or email me at aisha@starttofinishmotherhood.com. If you love this episode, please share it with anyone who's thinking of becoming a single mother by choice, anyone who's already parenting as a single mother by choice and just looking for advice on navigating it all, or a friend or family member who's looking to support someone else's single mother by choice journey. Until next time, bye now.